Hi, kids. I'm in such a good mood today because I get to give you a test. Don't you just love it? I've got quite the math workout planned for you today. But before we get into this math mess, I will say the good news is there's only 9 questions. The 10th one is a freebie. So it's not even covering absolutely everything we learned this week or reviewed this week. So it won't be everything from the week. So stay tuned to the end of this to watch a short review of what you need to know for the test. But for now, we must have a little bit of laughter, even if it is deviously mad laughter like mine. Because life without laughter is... All right, so here we go. We're going to start with ocean chips. Once upon a time, drifting slowly, alone on the ocean, was a bag of chips. And that's right, it's the good kind, where the grease soaks through the bag a little bit. Taco, woo woo, taco. Palinque. These are good chips. Why would they have been discarded and thrown overboard? What silly person would do such a thing for such a waste of deliciousness? And all was going well, because good chips float, kids. Until one day, dun, 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 dun. He knew something was amiss. He sensed a presence. Dun-dun-dun. Dun, 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 dun. But as far as the eye could see, nothing. Dun, 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 dun. I'm afraid it didn't end well for the chips, kids. Okay, that was round 1. Round 2, kids, is going to be the dancing shirts. All right. Just a bit of prop humor. What's next? The goofy tests. Okay. So, isn't that awesome looking? I just love that. I was like, I got to use this somehow. It just looks so cool. Looks like an explosion at a clown convention. Anyway, we need to talk a little bit about the test. And what's that? Hey, Goofy, what's up? Hey, Greg, I'm here to say hello to the kids. Hi, guys, gosh. Well, guys, I had actually sent a request to Disney asking if they could send one of their leading actors to come help support us in your education. Yes, kids, we're all about learning. And I'm just so happy that Goofy could come down here to support us in testing you. Test? Wait a minute. Nobody said anything about a test. Well, Goofy, see, teachers test kids. That's just the way it is and the way it's always been. Oh, I got the impression you were better than that, sir. Well, I mean, I am not the school. I'm just one teacher. But kids, they like to be pushed and challenged and rise to the occasion. Sounds like hogwash to me. I mean, honestly, it goes both ways. The kids love being tested, right, kids? And us teachers love to torture I mean, test the kids because we just want to help them become better. That's all we do. We just want to help them become better. But, Goofy, I need your support on this. In the contract it said that you would help support whoever was sent here. And I'm just glad it was you. All I gotta say is a test is not indicative of one's intelligence. Look at me. I've never been tested but once in my life. A rabies test. Well, it's bit by a raccoon, and I passed that test. But I don't need a test to know I'm the smartest Disney character ever. Right, kids? Gosh. All right, I'm going to squash that, Goofy, because the test is going to happen. All right, next, we're going to go to Giggles Gets It. So, guys, have you ever maybe just been alone and you just kind of sense like you're not alone? Like you just feel like there's something. Like it may even be like friendly, like a guardian angel or something, and you just feel like there's something. And oh my gosh, you didn't even see my hand, right? Prop fail. Oh my gosh, who are you? What's your name? Well, I guess I'll call you Giggles. Hey, you just need to stay on your side here, okay? If you want to be on my show, I'd welcome you as a sidekick. Goofy didn't quite work out. He didn't support the testing situation. Hey, listen, I'm not... Get out of my face. I told you, you can stay on your side and we'll be fine. That's it. I'm not sure what he was trying to accomplish there. All right, that was just kind of dumb. All right, and lastly, and maybe Worsley, before we do a very short review over the things you need to know for this test. I know you've all realized one of my superpowers is growing hair, right? I'm not talking about up there. Y'all is too short to see up there anyway. That's why I'm glad I'm tall. Nobody sees that. I'm talking about my facial hair. If I try really hard, I can just... Look at that. Now that's a mustache right there. Look at that. Uh-huh. That's my Freddie Mercury stash right there. It actually inspires me to like sing y'all a song, right? We're gonna master this test. Boom, 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 boom. And we'll show all our work and do our best. Boom, boom, boom. And we can check our answers. We can prove our answers. No time for guessing, 'cause we are the math champs of the world. All right, guys. You got this. Go get them, guys. Let's go. Time for the review. All right, we're going to screen share and do our short review, y'all. So this test is primarily about area, okay? You already knew some area coming into this year. I'm going to text box, which is what we've been most successful with the past week. So area of different shapes. That doesn't look blue. There we go. So we have area of squares, rects, get wrecked, and parallelograms. Okay. So let me just make this a little. I don't know if I can. Oh well. I'll do a few columns if I need be, and y'all can take a snapshot of this at the end if you like, but you want to still listen and hear a few words about this, okay? So these are all just length times width, and this year we decided to change that to base times height, okay? Because when we work with triangles, here, I don't know if this will actually show up on your whiteboard or not. But let's get in on the action over here so I can see. Okay. Like I said, you guys can't see my little toolbox. Okay. So the only thing that's really new to be aware of here, we know that squares and rectangles, it's side times side, so length times width. But parallelograms are the ones where they have the slanted, okay? I don't know if I can't do slanted per se. Oh, wait. Maybe. I mean, that's a diamond. But it's basically a square or a rectangle that's been squished, okay? And I don't think I can rotate that, but anyway. Anywho, so it's still base times height. So if I could spin this, which I can't, that I know of, and this was the base, and then we figure the height going up at a 90-degree angle, that gives you the area. Area is how much space fits inside here. Like if we did the area of the floor, it's the entire floor, nothing outside the room, just the floor inside the room, okay? All right, so let's go text box. The one we worked with that not as many of you knew as much about, triangles. And you can take any square or rectangle, make a small one right here, okay? Any square and rectangle, which is base times height, correct? And you can cut it in half. I'll go from this corner to this corner, and I now have two triangles, right? So the area of the triangle is half of what the rectangle would be. It's still got a base times a height, but it's only half of the whole rectangle or square. So the formula for a triangle is 1/2 times base, little b, times h for height, okay? And just keep in mind when you do this, a lot of times, I'm just going to change color for a second. Red means danger, right, guys? If we were looking at this triangle right here, labeled 1, and I tried to switch to red and it didn't stay, okay? And they'll give you a number over here. Okay, let's say they say that's 10. And then this is 3. And we'll call the bottom 8, okay? The 1 is just, this is triangle 1. I'm not using this other one, okay? Remember, and other teachers say similar things to me, but the slants, the 7th grade teachers say this in different words, but slants are the liars, okay? They are called distractors in math. They're not part of the formula. The formula is base, which is this bottom 8, times height, which is the 3, and times 1/2. Okay, so in this case, you take half of the base, which is 8, and that would be 4. So I would have 4 times 3, okay? That would give me 12. So that's how you do the triangle. So 1/2 times 8 times 3 becomes, 1/2 of 8 is 4 times 3 becomes 12. And it would be feet squared, that little 2, okay? And the other thing we did, it's going to change it all, isn't it? Yep. The other thing we did is trapezoids. Trapezoid robots, please report. Any parents that know what I just said, you're the coolest people ever. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. All right. Trapezoids, I almost said robots again. Trapezoids, I will draw one. Trapezoid can have 3 main forms that we see. It can either be like a bowl. Oh, this is just a line. Sorry, it's been a couple of days since I've practiced these. So it can be like that, or an upside down bowl, or it can also be what I call like the van, where it has a flat. It can even be 90 degrees possibly. But then right here, it's like that. Now the key to a trapezoid is it has one set of parallel sides. Now it doesn't look that way here on this shape, but consider that the top and bottom are parallel, perfectly parallel to each other, okay? That's a trapezoid. So that's the weird formula we kind of learned and played with this year. But you would basically have a base 1 and a base 2. I usually just out of habit call the top one base 1 all the time. The top one base 1, okay? Base 1, base 2, okay? And then we'll need to know the height. Now in this case, I'm going to call this 90 degrees, okay? So that can actually be my height, all right? But over here, they don't have a 90 degrees. So they will have dotted lines, which is hard to do with this writing program, and they will still have the little 90 degrees, okay, like that. So that I know that's straight up and down. So I'm going to come back over here and go to blue. I'm going to go free draw. And so they might tell you the height. This would be the H. And this is the H, okay? Now, technically, the trapezoid was the most complicated one we dealt with, and for the past few years I've been teaching is one a lot of people struggle with. But what I try to get through people's heads, it's still the concept of base times height. The only problem is there's two bases, okay? First base and second base. And we're talking some baseball. I miss baseball. I miss a lot of things. I miss you guys especially. I like to always take this opportunity. God bless and protect you and your families. Love you, miss you, okay? All right, so back to math. Let me go back to text box. It's still base times height. The only thing is, since there's two bases, I need to add the two bases together to make one big base and then divide it by 2. That will give me what the average base would be if I added them together and divided them evenly. So picture those being money or candy, and you add them all together and you divide them evenly amongst one other friend or sibling, brother and sister, whatever, okay? So that's called an average or a mean, M-E-A-N. We did during school mean, median, mode. The mean teacher made us do averages all day because you have to add a bunch of stuff up and do long division. So the formula down here is 1/2, and some people write it slightly different, but it can still work the same way, of base 1 plus base 2, and then times the height when you're done, okay? Some people write base 1 plus base 2 and then put a line under it and put a 2 under it, divide it by 2 instead of times half. That's up to you, okay? So that was the hardest thing 6th graders ever had to do with me. Now, this year with us picking up 7th grade, there's something new, guys. What do you think that is? There it is, except if it was exactly equal, I guess. There we go. So that is what you call a circle. I mean, you don't need me to tell you that. And I want to make a straight line. There's a few things we need to know about the circle to determine the area of a circle, okay? So a circle is always going to have, there's a couple calculations we can do to figure out anything they ask us to do, okay? I'm going to change colors. Let's go red. The bottom line you see, the straight line going across, that goes all the way across, is D, the diameter. And I wanted to change the labels to red. Oh, I accidentally went pink. Okay, we can do that. And then this is R, or the radius. okay? Diameter is a bigger word than radius. It's more letters, it's longer, and its line is longer. So diameter is the long one, okay? Radius is half of the diameter, okay? So let's go back to blue. There's some formulas you have to learn. Area of circle, okay? The area of the circle is pi times r, and I can't make the little bitty 2. I don't know how to do that on this, but it's pi r squared, or pi times r times r. Anytime something is squared or cubed, it means times itself that many times. And square is the one we use for 2, and cubed is for 3, to the third power or to the second power. Three-dimensional shape is to the third power. A two-dimensional shape, like I have on this board right here, two-dimensional power would have feet squared or whatever. Okay, so pi, we have been told to always just represent with 3.14. And now, you will occasionally get a question. There is one on this test where it says about or approximately, then you could maybe round it to a 3, okay, instead of 3.14, and you get the closest answer. 3.14 times, and then whatever r is, okay? So if I said r was 3, it's pi r squared, so it's 3 times 3. So if I rounded the other 3, 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 again is 27. And I know this one actually ends up being 28.26. So let's call it feet squared, okay? If this was, what did I just say, 3? Now, one thing I will say is, if they're asking, here's one of the biggest tricks on this test and every homework and everything we do in IXLs. If they want you to give them the area, they're not going to tell you what the radius is. They're going to tell you what the diameter is. Okay, so let's say the diameter is 6. I'm going to move it. Oh, maybe I can't. All right, let's just do it again. All right, I can't erase it because it will erase it. Oh, no, yeah, I can just undo one move at a time on this. Cool. There it is. Perfect. Okay. So when it says pi r squared, a lot of people just grab that 6. We don't want the 6. We want the radius. We want only half of that, so it's 3, okay? So that's one of the things you got to be careful with on the area of circles. Then the other thing they will ask you on circles is the circumference. And just like on IXL, they'll ask you the same questions a few different ways, okay? Circumference is the distance around outside of the circle. With other shapes, it's called perimeter. I'm not sure why they chose a different word for circles, but hey, that's fine. Circumference is the distance around. Now, C equals pi times D. Now, I think if circumference is around, like a circle, like a pi, so circumference you get pied, like somebody, pied you in the face, pi times D. That's what circumference is, okay? Area is all the space inside, but circumference is just the circle on the outside. So it's a circle like a pie. All right. So in this case, on the one up above, if they ask me the circumference, I already know the diameter is 6. So it's just going to be 3.14 times 6. Okay? Now, lastly, one of the things they like to do is say, I'm going to tell you 2 little tricks. They do this on both. Okay? They don't ask you any trapezoids on this test either. There's no missing angles on this test. That's something else you did. Okay, but they're going to talk to you about areas of rectangles, triangles. You'll need to know those, and circles. And anyway, let's continue. So sometimes they will tell you the area equals pi times r times r. So sometimes they will say, hey, the area is 300, and they'll say, what's the radius or what's the diameter? Well, I know pi is 3.14. Actually, let's make this a little easier. I'll say it's 314, okay? Times r, okay? So if they're asking me what r is, then I have to divide the 314 by 3.14, 3 and 14 hundredths, okay? And that's going to give us, we divide, it's just algebra. I want the r by itself on one side, so how can I get rid of that times 3.14? I'm going to divide both sides by 3.14, okay? So if I divide this side by 3.14, all I'm going to have left is r times r, okay? And on this side, look, I'm going to get a completely different answer. I just made this problem up, so it's not going to equal properly. We've only done square roots of perfect squares. We did one lesson on it. I think it's video 2, 3, or 4. It's one of the first few I did, guys, from this review session since spring break. But we were only doing square roots of perfect squares. A perfect square would be when you have like 81, it's 9 times 9. 9 is 3 times 3. 4 is 2 times 2, right? You know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to put a number over here. I'll just put 100, okay? So if it said 100 equals r times r, what's the perfect square root? What times itself equals 100? 10. So that means r equals 10, okay? So sometimes they'll give you the area and you're going to have to do the formula backwards, okay? Now speaking of that, that reminded me, and I'm going to switch to green over here. Oh, okay, switch that to green. Let me start a new text box over here, and this text box I want to be red. And let's go back to, let's do area of a triangle. I'm sorry. The last thing we didn't do is just yesterday's assignment. The area of rectangular prisms and pyramids, okay? So rectangular prism, okay? So one of the things they'll do there, the formula for that is area equals big B times H. So big B is the area, and I don't know if I can draw one real quick, guys. I'll see what I can do. Give me a second. Let's do a color that stands out. Oh, here we go. I never use that. So it's not going to necessarily be straight, but here's a, there we go. So it's not going to be pretty, but here's a square, okay, or maybe it's a stick of butter. Hey, it's a stick of butter, okay? It's going to be a rectangular prism. What that means is I have the same shape on both sides. That's my base, okay? And then just picture it's like that. And if we could see through it, dot, dot, I can't really do it here. You would be able to see the back rectangle. So the way you find the area that fits inside this stick of butter is you do the area of the big B base is this side, okay? Then I'm going to switch to yellow, okay? From the picture we had the other day, okay? So here's the big B base. But then it's also this side, okay? So what we have here is you find the area of this shape, this square, and sometimes it's a triangle, that'd be a triangular prism, and then it's times the height, like how long this shape is, okay? So the area of the big B, I'll go back to red and text box. So let's say that rectangle on the end was 3 times 7. Okay, so that's going to be 21. But we're also going to do times the height. So let's say the height was 10. Okay, so it's going to be 21 times 10. So my answer is going to be 210, and it's going to be feet cubed to the third power. Okay, so that's how that works. Hey, I forgot one thing, guys. I don't know if that already deleted that. If it did, you can go back, rewind, and take a picture of it. Survey says. Okay, it's all still there. Okay. Let's see if I can move this up. Because I had that screen bigger, that's why, huh? That's why, because I made me. There we go. There's one other thing I forgot that I need to remind you that is on this test. And you know how to do it, but it wasn't an IXL you did. Let's see. Color. We'll do black. Sorry, guys. It takes me a minute to get all these figured out. Okay. I'm going to draw a picture. I'm going to try. So here's something that's going to be on the test tomorrow. And tell me if you remember these. Okay, let's pretend that's a perfect rectangle. And then if we had a triangle. And then if I had I didn't draw it very perfect, but we're going to call that a quarter of a circle, okay? And if they give you all the numbers, the main thing you're going to need to do, I guess I can use the text box. I'm going to go back to, let's go to this purple again. I'm going to number my shapes. That's the easiest one to do, so I'll do it first. This will be the next easiest to do. And then last, I'm going to do this. What shape is that supposed to be? You may not be able to see. That is a quarter of a circle. Okay? I don't know if I can move it. I have to select it and move it. It's just a little too. There we go. Okay, so you would end up having to do, and this is how I used to tell you earlier in the year, write what number it is. So shape 1, it's a rectangle, it's going to be length times width. Okay? Shape 2, it's a triangle. And you need to write the formulas down. The triangle is 1/2 times length, base times height. Okay? And then shape number 3 is a quarter of a circle. Okay? So I'm going to put that quarter right at the front. It's going to be 1/4 times, and the area for a circle is pi r squared. So times pi times r times r. Okay? Now, remember, if you need to know what r is, it's going to be the length of this rectangle's width. Okay? Whatever they tell you this is right here, can you see my mouse? That's going to be the same as this one. That's going to be my radius. Okay? But just want to give you one warning. God forbid, wink, wink. If you see a shape, gosh, I just cannot draw these straight lines. And, okay, let's do the same kind of situation. If it has that on the top, what is that shape? that is a half circle, so you would do times 1/2 there. And you know, I suppose you could also have, and we had it on a couple of our problems, we had a couple problems one time. And it was I think they showed, yeah, like that, right? And it was 3/4 of a circle. Okay, so you're going to have to know whether it's a full circle, which is pi times r squared, or a half circle, which would be 1/2 times pi times r squared, or a quarter circle, you'd have 1/4 times pi times r squared. Okay, and then that's called a composite figure. After you find out the area for all three of these shapes, you then add the three together, and that tells you your grand total. Okay, so that was the last thing I wanted to remind you. I'm going to real quickly take a quick glance, see if there's anything else I wanted to tell you. There was a mistake on the number 10. It was a pretty cool problem, actually. If we were in class, I would tell you about it the next day after the test. It was because I liked the problem, but there was a mistake on it, which I discussed with the other teachers. So it's either not going to count at all, and you're going to get 11 points for each of the 9 questions, or it's going to be a freebie question that has a little story and tells you the answer inside of it. Automatically, you'll know the answer. So we'll see. That's it, guys. Volume of the 3D shapes. The one thing I didn't do is a pyramid. Let's switch to, I don't know, gold text box. So a pyramid, I could do a pyramid real quick, actually, because I can make a square. So this is a rectangular pyramid, okay, because its base is a rectangle, okay? I don't recall, I did the test myself, I don't recall there being a pyramid, but just in case you're supposed to know this, we did this week. So here's the pyramid. Ah, what are you doing? No, it looks kind of funny. Anyway, so the rectangle's on the bottom, and there's triangles all connected to each other going all the way around. The bottom is the big B base, okay? Now, you can look up the formula. If you guys are at home, so if you have a problem and it says you have a triangular pyramid, you can look up the formula for that. If it says rectangular pyramid, look up the formula for that, okay? A rectangular pyramid is going to be the volume equals 1/3 times big B times height. Okay, so they will tell you the height of the whole pyramid up and down, but the big B stands for the area of the base on the bottom. Okay, so length times width on the bottom here tells us how much the bottom rectangle is, and then how tall it is, and you do all that times 1/3. Okay, if it's a triangular pyramid, we just had this assignment, then you're only going to have 3 face triangles on the top, and the bottom is going to be a triangle base. So how do you calculate the area of a triangle for the bottom of the pyramid? If it's a triangle on the bottom, it's 1/2 of base times height. Okay, but then you still got to go 1/3 because it's a pyramid, and then you still got to multiply by the height of the total pyramid. Just look up that formula. You guys, when you're taking this test, you should check your answers. Okay, after you get an answer, you may see it there as a multiple choice, but then do the problem backwards, plug it in, and check your answer. See it and make sure that it works. All right, that covers everything you need to know for this week's test, guys. Good luck. I will say hats off for the past 2 weeks being the highest average test scores. and the highest passing amounts. Okay, individual classes, my block 3 had 100% passing. Okay, has done that the most on tests this year, as you all know. Block 2 has had the highest average test score and the most hundreds until this last week. Block 1 was first place or tied for first on all 3 categories. They were tied for first with the most hundreds. They had the highest test score average, and they were tied for first with the 100% passing. So congratulations, Block 1. You guys are all so awesome in your own ways, and all of those things count that you're awesome at. Okay, so if you're a little different than one of the other blocks, but your thing is awesome. So you keep being you, keep working hard, take the test seriously. Let's get the most hundreds. Let's have the highest average. Let's have the highest passing percentage. I really love you guys and respect how awesome you are, but just don't slack off. If you just watch the videos, do the IXLs, and then do these reviews, you should be. I have a bunch of guys and girls who are not missing a single point on anything. Okay? So, like out of the 5 tests, they got 4 out of 5 hundreds and 190. There was a handful of people like that. Okay? And they're getting hundreds on every homework assignment. Some of y'all are being lazy and wanting to play your games, and you're quitting in the 70s and 80s on the IXLs. So then you have no room to breathe on your test. If you flub up on your test, I mean, I hate to say it, on this last 3-week period, and for some people on the overall 6 weeks period, I had like 5 or 6 people that failed, guys. And they're not people that really failed before, okay? They're not doing the work. And then I had some other people that were really, really, really behind. In the last couple of days, they did it all and got all caught up. One person had 2 IXLs they didn't get a finish. One person had 4 that they didn't get a finish. But they had only done 2 or 3 the entire 3 weeks. And in the last 2 days, I mean, don't do that, guys. That's hard. I mean, I'm proud of all the work those couple people did to get caught up, and they got good grades. But it would be so much easier if you take the short amount of time per day. Put in your 30 to 45 minutes. Hey, it's still half of what we would normally do if you were meeting with me in the class. We'd be there for an hour and 50 minutes. You can watch my video for 20 to 30 minutes. You can do 1 or 2 IXLs for 20 to 30 minutes each. Some of those IXLs, I see the time. Some of you are getting them done in 5 minutes, okay? You know what you're doing, or you also watched the video when I showed you examples. So, I mean, some of you are spending 30 to 40 minutes. Some of you are spending an hour. It's still less than an hour and 50 minutes. So don't sell yourself short. Put the time in. There's going to be some kind of consequences and repercussions for the summer. And if your grade's too low, you're not even allowed to do summer school. You're just automatically held back. I mean, they're already having these conversations. I have accelerated kids, but they're already having these conversations about a lot of kids. Okay, guys? All right. Love you. Miss you. God bless you and protect you and your family. Be safe. Get the test done. Look back and get all the IXLs done. I have to enter. They're supposed to all be due by midnight Friday night. And Saturday when I get up and have breakfast, I'm going to start entering the grades. And I'm not going to just keep letting people do them the next week. It's cutting off Friday at midnight. So if there's a few of you that owe me 3 to 4 things from this past week, get them done. Okay, sorry to lecture. It's out of love, care from you. Hope you enjoyed my silly, stupid videos, and this review helps. Douglas out. I've got to hit stop and stop.